All right, let's jump right into it. I'm sure you guys have all heard or seen that 911 call about the guy saying, screaming, "It's not human, it's not human," as he was driving through this deserted part of stretch of road in a town. I'm going to play the 911 clip, just a small portion of it if you haven't heard it. So here we go.
It's not human! Sir, are you okay, sir? There's something in the
So as
back
you
of my
can see
truck!
and hear, he's super distressed. He was driving along. You could Google the entire 911 call. At first, he was calling to report. He said he saw somebody in Civil War era uniform covered in blood, and that's what he was calling to report. And as he's on the phone with the 911 operator, you hear a audible loud thud that lands on his truck. Then that ensues that clip I just played of him screaming, "It's not human, it's not human." He goes on to describe what he saw. He said the thing that landed in the back of his truck was over 7 feet tall. He said it had pale white skin. It had deep black eye sockets. He said it looked like a stretched out human. So eventually he slammed on his brakes. The creature flies over the top, lands in the road. He sees it. He says it stands up. It's over 7 feet tall, very long arms, very long legs. And he said it just darted into the woods. There's a full interview with this guy online. They don't show his face. You just hear him being interviewed about what he saw and what happened. The guy sounds extremely credible. It's like, this is what happened. He describes it. You can hear like the terror in his voice as he's describing what he's seen. Now, I feel like this guy encountered two elements of the paranormal. So as he's driving along that road, this is about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. He said there is nobody else on the road. It's a deserted stretch. There's no lights, just what his headlights can pick up. He's like, you can't even really see moonlight or anything. It was very dark. So when he first called, he was calling to report this Civil War era soldier covered in blood. This part of town he was driving through, I believe it was North Carolina, they say this area is known for people seeing Civil War era ghost. I guess there was a big part of the Civil War that was fought in this part of town, so already that's a hot spot for paranormal activity for people seeing Civil War era ghost. So what he saw, I don't think was a real person, because who's going to be out in this stretch of road in the middle of nowhere at 2 or 3 in the morning in a Civil War era uniform? So I think that was the first paranormal thing he encountered. What he thought was a man, I think might have been a spirit. Could be wrong, but if you line everything up, to me, that makes the most sense. Then he has this thing land on his truck. He sees it in his rearview mirror. It's in his truck bed. People are calling this creature a skinwalker. People are calling it a rake. I think I'm going to go with a rake. I don't think it really matters, but like skinwalkers tend to be people that can transform themselves into animals, usually different animals, or they have fur or things like that. A rake, if you Google an image of it, this is the image that's going to pop up. And I think this looks exactly like what he described and what he was talking about. I have two personal stories about this particular creature. Not that I've experienced, but two people who I know close to me each came to me at different times and told me a story about seeing a creature just like this. Neither one of them knew each other. Neither one of them knew this gentleman in the video. So this is 3 times I've heard a story describing this particular creature from 3 totally different people who have no communication with each other, all in different parts of the country. So to me, I'm 100% a believer. This guy in this video sounds extremely credible. He doesn't sound like he's BSing. We had the interview. He didn't want to show his face. And then another time I heard that story from a buddy in the military. And then another one was directly from my nephew. So I'll tell you those stories right now. So my nephew moved to Oklahoma a few years back. I believe this was around 2021. He's 14, 15 at the time. It was nighttime, and I live in California. It was nighttime, probably 7 p.m., so I'm assuming about 9 p.m. Oklahoma time. I get a call from my nephew, and he's panicked. He's freaked out. He's like, Theo means uncle, for those of you who don't know. He's like, hold on, I gotta call you back. And then he hangs up on me. And I'm obviously freaking out. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm thinking, my mind starts thinking of like a shooter or something like that, the current climate we're in. So eventually he calls me back about 20 minutes later. And I'm like, what's up? Like, what's going on? So he tells me this story. He said him and his buddies were driving back from a football related activity. They played high school football. I don't know if it was practice or some kind of function. They were driving down a 2-lane road in Oklahoma, very rural area. They live in a really small town. He said there was woods on this side, and they were just driving down this road. No street lights, just the headlights. 2 guys in the front seat, my nephew and his friend in the back seat. And they said they were driving along, listening to music, just BSing. And my nephew said he looks out the front window, and in the middle of the road, he thinks he sees something. And he's like, what the hell is that? But he said nobody else is seeing it, so he doesn't say anything. He's like, maybe I'm just imagining things. Then all of a sudden, the driver turns the radio down, and he goes, what the hell is that? And then everybody looks forward, and they go, oh my God, what the hell is that? My nephew said he looked in the road. It was a tall, 7-foot tall creature. He said it was pale white. He said it had deep black eye sockets. Basically exactly what this guy in that 911 call described. My nephew said as they got closer to it and the headlights shone on it, the creature looked at them. Then he said it squatted down and had its 2 arms, and it bolted into the forest at a ridiculous speed. And he said the way it would move was the arms would go between the legs. It was kind of like on all fours, almost the way a kangaroo moves. And so my nephew calls me just as this finished happening, as he got home. He was terrified. I hear the panic in his voice. He has never told me anything crazy like that before, and he has never told me anything crazy like that since. I 100% believe him, trust him. To this day, he tells me it was the freakiest thing he's ever seen. Next story was from a military buddy of mine. So this was years ago when I was in the Navy. I go by my buddy's first name. His name is Derek. And we're both into the paranormal. We were just trading stories and things. And he's like, yo, he calls it a skinwalker. He said, I seen a skinwalker once. I was like, really? He was like, yeah. He said he grew up in New Mexico. He was out in the middle of nowhere in New Mexico riding his motorcycle. He said everywhere you looked, there was just 2-lane roads and lots of desert and whatnot. He said you could see, pretty much for miles. So as he was driving his bike, he looked and he thought he saw like a person kind of like squatted down out off the road a little bit. And he was looking, he's like, oh, that's kind of weird. And he said all of a sudden this thing stands up. And he's like, it looked like it was about 7 feet tall. He said it long arms, long legs, no hair, pale white skin. You couldn't really see the details of the face, but he's like, it definitely wasn't human. And he's like, as he's looking at it, the thing squats down to like almost all fours and starts bolting at him, running with its arms between its legs, kind of like a kangaroo, at a ridiculously high speed. So he said he just really ripped out on his motorcycle and he was terrified. So again, that's a 3rd time I've heard a very similar story describing a very similar creature. I'm going to go ahead and call it a rake. And as you see these images here, if you Google the image of a rake, this is what comes up. Some of these are trail cam footage. You could say they're fake. You could say whatever. I'm not here to debate the quality of the images, but these are creatures. That's 3 times I've heard stories about the same exact creature. So I am inclined to believe it. One of them was from a good friend of mine. One of these stories was from my nephew. And they're all describing the same thing, down to the details, the color of its skin, how long it was, the way it looked, the deep black eye sockets. So I, for one, know this thing is real. So if we accept that at face value, this thing is real, then I want to know, what is it? I don't think it's of our world. I think these things exist in a different dimension or a different reality. So that's where the interesting topic comes in. Some people could say they're demonic. I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? Where is it coming from? Is it coming from hell? I think there's things about our reality that we don't understand. And I think that there's creatures and beings that can bleed into our reality. And if you notice, the time of this 911 call was around 3 a.m. And if you'll notice, a lot of paranormal sightings and paranormal events happen right around that time. When my nephew saw it, it was about 9 or 10 p.m., so it was a different time. And my buddy, when he had his sighting, he said it was in the middle of the day, which was rare for me to hear a story like that happen to somebody in broad daylight. So 3 totally different times. But it just makes me wonder, where are these things originating from? What is our reality? Are we able to cross over to dimensions the way I feel other beings and creatures can cross over to ours? Just my thoughts and theories. I'm sure you guys have yours. Please drop them in the comment section. I don't by any means believe I have the answers to any of this. I really enjoy just kind of pontificating about it, throwing out theories and seeing what other people have to say and what your guys' thoughts are. And I don't know how you guys are feeling, but things like this are starting to happen more frequently, and the stories are a little bit more legitimate. The story I want to get into next is, to me, probably the most credible UFO alien sighting, at least of the last 20 to 30 years. It just happened a few years back, maybe less. Do you guys remember there was that family in Las Vegas who claimed that there were aliens in their backyard? They said they were 10-foot tall creatures. They didn't call them aliens, they called them creatures. Now, this case is fascinating because before that 911 call, there's dash cam footage, which I'm going to get into in a second, from these Las Vegas police officers. They're driving along. On their dash cam, you see a green flash of light come falling from the sky. So they have that video footage on their dash cam. And then a couple minutes after that, they get a call saying that people are saying that there's large creatures in their backyard. So video footage from a police cruiser, then eyewitnesses, then those police go to the scene of the crime. Let's hit that clip.
I don't know. I'm so nervous right now. I have butterflies, bro. Everyone saw a shooting star. Then these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
Me and my brother, we just
Did you see it?
Huh?
Did you see it?
Yeah, me and him saw it.
What'd you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard, or?
They see like a big. That's what they say. They see like a big something with light.
Can we go that side?
Weird. Just the fact that our partner saw something at the same exact time. If those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
So there it is. You can see the dash cam footage from the police officer's cruiser. You see them go talk to the witnesses. Now, the interesting part about this case, that family, they reported over the next few days there were government vehicles parked outside of their home. There were government agents. They didn't say from what department who were coming in and going into their backyard. They were doing readings and measurements. That family eventually moved, and nobody really knows where they went. So do a deep dive into that. Go into YouTube and research that story. I think that story is the most significant UFO alien story that's happened in the last 20 years. And I guess nobody really talks about it, but how much more evidence do you need? There's also videos, you can find them online, of like ring cameras from their neighbor's house where you can kind of see the creatures that they're talking about. The family was terrified. It was a really crazy case. Now I want to bring this back to my initial point, is that are these crazy cases of paranormal and alien activity ramping up over the last few years? Are we building towards something? Is there something crazy that's going to happen? Or are the veils between our reality and other realities starting to get thinner, and we're starting to see more of these things happen? It's pretty crazy. It's pretty creepy. If you guys have stories, things that you've seen, please let me know in the comment section. I want to hear your thoughts and theories about all of this. So let's get some conversation going in the comment section. And everybody just kind of share their stories, thoughts, and ideas. I tend to believe that these things are leaking over from another dimension. If you have another theory, I'd love to hear it. That's all for today. Thank you so much. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. I'm just getting started, but I'm going to start coming up weekly so we can talk about weird, strange, paranormal coincidences. This is Mr. Synchronicity signing out. Thank you so much.